Are you feeling tired or discouraged, especially after the of the holidays? Don't worry, I'm a mom. I feel that way too. I had the most beautiful reminder on Christmas Eve. My family and I got in the car and we drove around the town that we moved to 3.5 years ago in Central Florida. And we went to look at Christmas lights. And along the way, we saw all these properties that, gosh, we looked at a lot of properties when we were looking for our property. It took us about 6 months to find our home. And in the midst of that, we found all these houses that kind of fit, but didn't exactly fit. Our family got really irritated. It was unpleasant. All we wanted was a home. We had always had a home, and all of a sudden we were homeless. We weren't homeless. We were living in a temporary accommodations, but it wasn't our home. And we were looking for something that God had put on our hearts. He had given us a checklist of things that we were looking for our next property. Time kept going. In the midst of looking for our home, we were given the opportunity to settle. And I heard myself as we were driving past these houses, I would be like, remember where we were at when we looked at that house? And everybody in the car started groaning and going, oh, all we wanted was a house. Oh, that was such a hard time. And I thought back and I heard myself and I kept saying, no, I refuse to give up the vision. I refuse to give up. God had us move 1,800 miles and I refused to compromise. And as I look at this moment that I am in, and if I'm being honest, I have felt a little discouraged and overwhelmed and tired lately. Life's been a lot. And we are given these opportunities when life is a lot to either rise up and become something amazing, or we are given the opportunity to settle. And I heard myself. It's so funny. This time it was me who was talking to me. I was ministering to my own heart. I heard myself going, no, I refuse to give in. And by refusing to give in, I have the example of our home, of what happens when you don't give in. What we have as a home is our checklist. We have a property that is peaceful and meets all of our needs. And it is not perfect by any stretch of any imagination, but it's ours. And slowly over time, we are making it ours and everything that we want it to be. But the bones were there. The property is there. There's a blessing on this land that came before us. And we feel it. We feel God here. It is so beautiful. It is so peaceful. And it is our home. As I reminded our family of this, as we're driving around our town looking at these Christmas lights, I heard God ministering to my spirit through myself, reminding myself that this is the moment I get to stand strong. This is the moment I get to pick myself up and not ignore the fact that I'm overwhelmed at times, and not ignore the fact that I feel discouraged and feel like I'm treading water half the time between my dad, who's cognitively declining, my kid, my mom, and our life. Like, it's a real life. And the reality of life is if you're living a real one and it's not perfect, no matter how positive you are, there are going to be those moments where you feel completely and with the holidays, I mean, as a mom and a woman, the reality is the holidays tend to feel like they fall to me. They fall on me. And it's my job to bring magic and all the beautiful things that come with the holidays. And it's exhausting. If I'm being transparent. It's fully exhausting. And yet I found myself picking myself up, dusting myself off on Christmas Eve, and reminding myself as I look at 2026 that God always provides. And it may not be in our time frame, and it may not be in our way, but He will meet us where we are at. And if He has given us a vision, He will fulfill that vision. We just have to keep chucking. We can't give up. We have to keep moving towards that vision. I stand here looking at my property, and I look at it and I see God. I see His fulfillment. So as I go into 2026, and I'm feeling a little tired and a little discouraged, I choose to be reminded of God's promises and his fulfillment. I choose to remember that life is not meant to be perfect. We would never grow that way. Our greatest growth comes from the hardest times, at least in my life it has. And I truly believe that for all humanity. Oh. So I ask you the question, where are you at in this moment? Have the holidays kicked you in the backside? Because they sure kicked me in the backside. Why are you discouraged? Is it because you're not where you think you should be? Is it because those things in your heart that you're working towards, those doors are not perfectly open yet? Is it because you're sad? Is it because you're lonely? Is it because your relationships aren't where they should be? Gosh, these are like the things that matter in life. So I ask you these questions and I pose them to you. And I pray in this moment, I pray for you. I pray that no matter what it is that is hurting or operating in your heart in this moment, that God would meet you where you are at, truly. And that he would give you direction on the things that you need to change in your life. And if it's encouragement, that he would give you encouragement. For me, I feel like I'm on the road. I feel like I'm headed in the right direction. But I am not where I am going. And it drives me nuts. But that's not everybody's story. So I pray that if you are not where you are headed and you're overwhelmed, I pray that he would soften your heart and remind you that you're on the way and give you encouragement. And if there is something that is breaking your heart, if your relationships are not right, if your life is headed in the wrong direction, I invite you to turn around and assess which direction you need to go. And I pray that God would touch your heart and show you which way to go. And that 2026 would be something for you that changes your whole world. Because the reality of life is we get one go. So what are you doing to make your life the most amazing life it could be? The hard work of life is just that. It's hard work. Sometimes we have to bear down and really work at something and put more than we think we have in this moment to get to the good stuff. And thinking of our house shopping adventure was that moment. You feel so down to nothing. Your family turns against you and is like, just buy a house. And I was like, no, we have a vision. God will be faithful. So I stand on that gentle reminder that he gave me, that encouragement that he gave me. And I share it with you to encourage you and to call you into your best as you enter 2026. And my ultimate is I pray that this met you where you are at today, that God touches your heart. That with us being touched, that we are filled. With us being filled, that we are able to go out into the world and overflow. Because if we went out into that world and we all overflowed, we can truly change the world. So let's go out and change the world in 2026 for the best. Let's do this. Have a beautiful day.